We're going to solve 1 over x squared minus 11x plus 30 equals to 1 over x plus 6 plus 7 over x squared minus 36. We're going to solve this equation by using the quadratic formula. So remember, in order for us to solve an equation as such, we want our equation to be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So what we want to do first is factor the denominators. We want to get rid of what's in the denominator. So the x squared minus 11x plus 30, the x squared minus 36 must be factored. So we're going to factor the x squared minus 11x plus 30, x and x, minus minus, 6 and 5. And then the x squared minus 36, the difference of two squares, x plus 6, x minus 6. Now we want to find the LCD, the least common denominator, and multiply it to all terms. I want to solve this equation, but without having the fractions in it, but also to solve it where we could identify our A, B, and C. So our LCD is going to be x plus 6, x minus 6, times x minus 5. So we're going to take those three factors and we're going to times it, multiply those three factors to every term you see in the question. X plus 6, x minus 6 times x minus 5. That's all over 1. And now let's cancel. The first term, what cancels out? The x minus 6's, the x minus 5. Then we're left with 1 times x plus 6 equals 2. The middle term, what cancels out? We have here the x plus 6, and we're left with 1 times x minus 6, x minus 5, plus the last term, what cancels out? The x plus 6, x minus 6, we have 7 times x minus 5. So let's distribute, and we have x plus 6, because when we distribute the 1 to the x and the 6, we still have x and 6. Now, this portion here, the x minus 6 times the x minus 5, well, we know what that product is because this is the product. We factored it. X squared minus 11x plus 36. Excuse me, plus 30. I said 36, but plus 30. And when we distribute the 1 to this trinomial, you're going to have x squared minus 11x plus 30. And then the last half, let's distribute the 7. We have 7x minus 35. Right-hand side, let's combine like terms. We have our x's. We have our constant numbers. Let's combine those. So we have here x plus 6 is equal to x squared. What is negative 11x plus 7x? You tell me that. We have negative 4x. And then 30 minus 35, we have minus 5. Let's set this equation equal to 0. So we're going to subtract x to both sides, and we're going to subtract 6 to both sides. We have 0 is equal to x squared minus 5x minus 11. So now we have our equation in quadratic form, in standard form, where we have our A, which is 1, our B, which is negative 5, and our C, which is negative 11. And we're going to use the quadratic formula to find our solution or solutions. At this point, the quadratic formula should be second nature. Practice writing the formula down so you understand it, especially and you know it as you are tested on how to solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. All right, so let's plug those values in for A, B, and C. We have here x is equal to negative times negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 11 all over 2 times 1. So before the plus minus symbol, we have negative and negative 5. So that's going to give us positive 5 plus or minus the square root of squared the quantity of negative 5, which gives us positive 25. Then we have negative 4 times 1 times negative 11, which is positive or plus 44 all over 2. Let's add 25 and 44. We have 5 plus or minus the square root of 69 all over 2. And what's the square root of 69? Okay. What would be the square root of 69? Is it 13? Not 13. Well, no, not 13 and 13. But can we find that value? Or can this be simplified? 13 squared. I know that's not going to work. It's 169. So 69 is a prime number. There's nothing that we can do to 69 other than keep it under the radical sign. And this is our solution. 5 plus or minus the square root of 69 all over 2.